Hi, friends, and welcome to yet another episode on nonverbal communication from the Talent Bridge and me. As I had mentioned last time, this time I would be talking about a topic called kinesics or kinesics. You'd hear it pronounced either way, and both are acceptable. So, what is kinesics? Nonverbal communication by use of appearance, gestures, and facial expressions. These are the three main components of the nonverbal cues that we send out, and this whole thing put together is called kinesics. Today, I'm going to touch upon just one of these aspects, and that is appearances. And all of us, sometime or the other, would have been told, or would have read, or would have told somebody else, keep up the appearance. It's so important in today's world of keeping up an appearance in front of people, and sometimes we don't even know what is behind that facade, what is behind those appearances. We do it to show the world, and it has become a mandatory part of our life. We are putting up these appearances in front of our family sometimes, and in a professional world, many a times we are doing it. And as I keep saying, I come from an industry, the hotel industry, and I always say there are people in our industry who deserve Oscars because they put up appearances for the rest of the world. They could be going through a lot of pain, but they still have a smile on their face when they talk to their guests. Appearances today also have become so important. We don't know what is going on behind that PPE or behind that mask that nurses, doctors, and all healthcare workers are putting up. They are putting up a face of bravery, and I'm sure each one of them is going through a certain amount of emotional anguish. A lot of them are away from their families from days on end. It's all about appearances and how do I project that appearance in front of people. The first thing that comes to my mind is the clothes that we wear. They convey so much. I've always have read about this, and I've always been told that for men especially, black is the color of power. They call it power dressing, and people usually refer to the American president or the POTUS who usually wears black, and I think Barack Obama carried it off very well from where the whole word was coined. I mean, I'm not very sure about the origins, but power dressing is there. I remember a conversation I was having with my kids about how one should dress when one went to work. And the challenge that came to me from them was who decided? Who defined it as a formal wear? Who defined it as an informal wear? Why should I be dressed in a particular manner when I go to work? Why can't I just wear what I like? Unfortunately, that's the truth of the business world. That's the truth of being a professional. Look around you. Everywhere you see examples of a particular message being conveyed through your dress, through your appearance. How do we define formal? Something that is accepted by the others, or something that has become a norm for generations and ages there? The whole perception of the CEO being dressed in a particular kind of a suit and a tie probably was broken again by some of the American CEOs when they decided jeans and t-shirt was fine, was acceptable. Then people began to segregate them into formal, informal, semi-formal, smart casuals and casuals, where round neck t-shirts became casual and collar t-shirts became smart casuals. The footwear that you wear, the trousers that you wear, it's all defined somewhere in a lot of things in a written word. There are books that talk about appearances. Before I go for a meeting, I think of who am I going to meet over there and then decide what I want to wear. Then in our country, it began to be categorized as Western formals and Indian formals. For the life of me, even today, I don't know what Indian formals can really be categorized as. Is a sari considered as an Indian formal? Or what I'm wearing today, a chudidar and a kurta is an Indian formal, a salwar kameez is an Indian formal. It's very difficult to define that. So somewhere down the line, we need to draw that level of balance where I start feeling comfortable in my second skin, and that is what I'm wearing. When I go into a training session, who's going to be my audience? Are they going to be youngsters? Are they going to be the top management of a company? Do I need to to change the way I dress before I go there? The answer is yes. Your haircut defines the kind of a person you are, maybe. I don't know why people say when you have a short haircut and a girl is carrying a short haircut, they decided to call it a boy cut. Who decided that short hair is going to be only for boys and long hair is going to be for the guys? I mean, I think we look at a lot of old serials and old movies. I just happened to be watching something from Star Wars where the Jedi is sporting long hair. He actually puts it up in a ponytail. So who defined that long hair is going to be for girls and short hair is going to be for the boys? But somehow, like I said, along the time, it became an acceptable norm. For us to actually approach somebody and talk to them, we look at how the person is dressed. A shabbily dressed person could probably be labeled as, he's not very smart, not very professional. And then again reminds me of a story that did its rounds about the college of Stanford and Oxford or something like that, and how this couple walked in for a meeting and they were very shabbily dressed, and therefore their son was denied admission into that exalted college, and then he went on to establish his own university and college. So do clothes really speak for a person's character? Do clothes and appearances really define who that person is? Today those lines are really blurred. We really can't say what is it because it's a facade. It is something that I put up in front of people. When I talk about the hotel industry, I probably look at a department where what you wear defines your designation. It's come down to that. There is a steward's uniform, there's a trainee's uniform, there's a captain, there's a senior captain, and there's a manager at the end of the day. And each one is defined by what he or she wears. Go to a hospital, go to maybe a surgery ward or go to the operation theatre. The surgery doctors are wearing a different color. The nurses attending are wearing a different color. The anesthetist is wearing a different color. The ward nurses, each one is different, wearing a different color. And then I guess I understand that it makes it easier for the common public to identify and not to really search around. I'll probably not go on and on about this because there are a bazillion examples around us as to how appearances define what we are and who we are, and they to quite an extent influence. Stereotypes are formed on the basis of appearances. Somebody who has a poker face, somebody who has this and that, he wears this so he's like this. National dresses are defined by appearances. If I look at a few states in our country, you wear a mekhla chador. Hey, are you from Assam? Or did you get that from Assam? I wear a particular type of a print like a silk that's come from Banaras or a silk that's come from somewhere else down south, a Kanjivaram. I tie a sari that goes between my legs, so is that a Navari? All of these things are about appearances and clothes. Just to sum up this session, I'd like to share with you a small story. It goes back to the days when I was working for a leading hotel chain, and I used to wear western suits in those days, and that particular day I chose to wear a black suit with a white shirt. And I happened to have gone to the railway station just before I went to work because I was waiting for my parents to be coming from Chennai to Hyderabad or vice versa. I don't really remember. And since the announcement for the platform had not been made, I positioned myself near the footbridge. And I stood there waiting for the announcement, and I was pretty busy doing something, I think in those days, a tiny little mobile phone. And I had a couple walk up to me and ask me in chaste Telugu, "Evandi, aa Guntur Express ye platform మీద వస్తుంది తెలుసా?" So I kind of gave her a weird look and I said, "Why are you asking me this question?" A few minutes later, a burly Sardar walked in with his entourage and asked, "Hanji, ye Rajdhani kaun si platform se jayegi?" or something to that effect. I think after a couple of such examples, I'm sure by now you have guessed why this happened. I looked down at myself. I looked like a TTE. I was actually standing there dressed in black with a white shirt, with a notebook and my wallet in hand, and I was busy doing something. So I'm sure people looking at me because of my appearance thought I was a TTE, and that was the truth till I just said, okay, I'm not doing this any longer. So friends, be careful what you're wearing. And I've been watching these memes and videos online which show people who are working from home and they are only on camera till here, wearing a tie and a suit, and I really don't know what else is there, below it. Reminds me of that movie PK, in which Boman Irani actually essays this. He's always wearing a nice suit and he's wearing spotted pajamas or colorful pajamas and chappals below that. So, gentlemen and ladies out there, wherever you are, appearances matter. So take care and stay safe. Thank you.